confirmed. John, let's switch over here for segment number 3 to the defensive side of the ball. And we take a look at this defensive side. And I think safety, obviously, edge rusher is a big conversation here. You've talked about the Eagles' desire, and also not only you've talked about it, but Howie Roseman has talked about it, take it from the man himself, that they need to retool the offense. Well, where does the defense come into play here, John, in the draft? They have 4 picks in the top 100. Is it one of those picks? Is it 0 of those picks? How do you see the Eagles managing that? Because they do have more holes, I would say, on the defense right now than they do on the offense. That's not to say they don't need to recoup the offense, but safety, edge rusher, it does feel like there's more spots there on defense to potentially improve or get an immediate impact type of player. Where do you see him going? How do you see him handling the defensive side of the ball when it comes to the NFL draft?
Well, I think, I always say day 3 is anybody. You just take the best player on your board. Doesn't matter offense, defense, not position. You're just looking for a guy in Howie's mind that has traits in his body. I'll use the Howie phrasing to make them potential starters down the road. He tells his people, I can get backups. Just find me starters. So they're always shooting for the stars on day 3. So that's about upside and who could develop and who has the ceiling. On those, if you're keeping all 4 of those picks, I would say probably 1 is going to be on the defensive side, most likely edge rusher. But again, somebody, somebody's there you like and you think is going to be a really good player. You go that direction. You're not slavish to the idea that you need, even though Howie has stated it, they need to start drafting more offensively. You're not, if players are not there that you want, like 23 overall, and you're forced to take that pick, you're not going to just take Max Ionacker if you don't like him. You have to pivot, and that might be edge rusher. And that might shift the whole equation. I don't see that edge rusher, as I've said pretty consistently. Maybe Reuben Bain because of his tiny arms. Maybe if he falls, and they say, wow, this guy's too good. We don't care that he doesn't have that. Let's just take him. Weird things can happen in the draft because, again, you're dealing with 31 other teams that have different ideas on different players in different spots. So a lot of uncertainty happens. But if you're playing the odds, I would say 3 out of 4 are going to be offense. But that's just an odds play.
Fair enough. Good stuff there. We'll see what they do on defensive side of the ball. What do you think, John, is the biggest pressing need right now? Is it edge rusher on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I think so. I think they could make do at safety, partially because of big scheme.
Yeah, me too.
Partially because you already saw Marcus Epps last year. It was okay. It wasn't great. You want to get better. They think Michael Carter can do it, who's a veteran player. I think he could at least make do. And they might have the best cornerback trio in the NFL if Reek Woolen holds up. And that'll help the safeties. So I think they can make do at safety. I don't know if right now, he draft-proofed the roster, and right now, if you had to play a game today, you have Nolan Smith, you have Jalix Hunt, you have Arnold Ebiketie, and now you have Joe Tryon. So, you could roll that group out in a game and not embarrass yourself. But I think, as you saw at the start of last season, they need the headliner. They need the centerpiece. And that's where Jalen Phillips would have fit. That's why they wanted him back. And then all of a sudden, that's pretty good. Jalen Phillips, Nolan Smith, Jelix Hunt, Arnold Ebiketie is pretty stinking good.
Yeah.
Now, if it's Jonathan Grenard, Nolan Smith, Jelix Hunt.
That's going a little quiet, that trade, but that might be just because of the time of the year we're in.
Yeah. As you get closer to the draft and draft night. If Grenard's getting traded, he's getting traded on draft night or before, slightly before. Because Minnesota will want the pick. So, that's pretty good if you can pull off that trade, the group. So there are different ways to do it, but they need a headliner on the pass rush. And that's pretty obvious.
Do you think we're writing off Nolan Smith maybe a little too quick, John?
Well, I'm not writing them off, but I mean, I do think
you're not writing them off, but it seems like we're writing them off as a headliner, as you just said.
Well, like I don't think you can count on him.
Yeah, I don't either.
To be a headliner, but I think he's a very good player. Ironically, because of his size, I think he's a better run defender. He's unbelievable, setting the edge. But that's part of the physicalness, the physicality of it being 238 pounds or whatever he is. Part of the reason he gets hurt. You're mauling with 330-pound tackles, and all of a sudden you tear your triceps. Things like that happen. No, I don't think he can be a headliner. I don't think he could be a top tier, number one pass rusher. But I mean, he was the 30th pick in the draft. Do you really expect that from the 30th pick in the draft? That's like a top 10 guy, And guys develop.
I think most people do. Yeah, to answer your question, man, that doesn't mean they're right, but I do think they do. 30th pick, first round.
Well, that's rare.
I think they want that guy to pan out. They want that guy to be a headliner.
Well, I mean, I think he already. I like if Nolan Smith never plays. I look at it differently. If he never plays another game again for the Philadelphia Eagles, which is not going to happen, it's already a successful pick. I mean, his run at the end of 2024 and in the playoffs was unbelievable. Already a successful pick. I mean, yeah, people have those expectations. He's a first-round pick. Joe Tryon was the 32nd pick. Like I say all the time. I mean, look, he will forever be a first-round pick. He was a first-round pick. It's one of my other pet peeves when people say former first-round pick. No, you're always a first-round pick.
Did you see what I sent you the other week? The Eagles put out. I'm like, John, you're fighting an uphill battle, man. Even the official Eagles notification. I forget who it was. I know I sent you it when they signed. Who was?
Yeah, they said former first round.
Yeah, they said former. Yeah. I said you.
Well, I know. But that's some. That's some intern in the social media who has no idea.
I'm just saying that's what the most people consume. You know. Yeah, that's what most people consume, which is where it comes from.
I'm just saying, if you're in this industry and you have a good editor, and most people don't have editors anymore, so they probably don't have a good one, you're going to get ripped for that. I'm just saying, be prepared. If you want to get in, you're going to get ripped for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Joe Tryon was a 2021 first round pick. But even my point is, my larger point with Joe Tryon is he wasn't supposed to be a first round pick that year. But, Tampa Bay wins the Super Bowl. They say, all right, this kid's got a big upside. We got some we got some, goodwill in the bank. Let's take a shot. But now he's a first round pick. So the expectations are elevated. And obviously he didn't live up to them. So he's 2 spots off of Nolan Smith. It's like, and Nolan's a little bit different because he was expected to be a first round pick. Some people even had the Eagles taking him way up at the top of the draft. There was a lot of uncertainty about where he would go because of the lack of size, but everybody knew he was a good player. So I'm not comparing them player-wise, but just from the first-round pedigree-wise, I mean, if you're expecting that at a 30th overall pick, headlining pass rusher, you probably, you probably got to temper yourself.
Yeah, well, I'll give you some data here that would maybe back up what you're saying, and then one counter. Myles Garrett was the number 1 overall pick. Aiden Hutchinson was the number 2 overall pick. Micah Parsons was the number 12 overall pick. Will Anderson Jr. was the number 3 overall pick. Now, how about this name, John? Maybe the exception.
Max Crosby was like a 4th-round pick.
Well, wait. How about this pick here? This might be the exception more than the rule. TJ Watt, drafted 30th overall. Pittsburgh Steelers. Can Nolan Smith turn into TJ Watt? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
No.
And there's other. Trey Hendrickson was not a top tier pick. Max was not. Daniil Hunter was a 3rd-round pick. I mean, it happens, but, I'm saying the expectation is not realistic. Obviously, Tom Brady, we know Tom Brady was 199. Jason Kelsey, it happens, but you can't expect it to happen. That's all. Guys develop and guys, I mean, it's easier to find the Myles Garretts of the world and the Aiden Hutchinsons of the world at number 1 or number 2. Yeah, I mean, it's easier to find Will Anderson in the top 10. It's easier. This year it's David Bailey and Arvell Reese. They're going to be top 10 picks.
Do you think now David Bailey and Arvell Reese are obviously both very good players and they're going to go at the top? Do you feel like they have the chance to be one of the names I just mentioned as a top pick like that?
Yeah, but I still think it's unlikely.
Me too, because obviously becoming one of those players is, in its own right, unlikely.
And it's not the best year at the top. I said I only have 2 blue chip players, which is.
I'm surprised you don't have Bailey as a blue chip.
Yeah, because I don't. Blue chip means blue chip to me. I used to have this argument with Jody. I would say, however many baseball teams there are now, I think 30, whatever. So by definition, you have 30 number 1 starters, but you don't really have 30 number. There's like a finite amount of aces, true aces. Might be 10, might be 12. It's not 30, but somebody's got to be a number 1. And that's why I say, most years, and we're going to have Devin Jackson back on Thursday. We got to get Ian back as well. And I should have asked them this by now. How many real 1st-round picks are there? And by real, I mean, how many people should go in the 1st round?
Yeah, right.
It's usually about 16 or 17, usually in a good year. I don't even know if it'll be that high. And then how many blue chip players? And to me, it's Love and it's Caleb Downs. Interestingly, at 2 positions that are typically not valued, at least at the top of the draft, by NFL teams. So that factors into it. A lot of people put Sonny Styles. Ian put Sonny Styles in there. Ohio State might have 3 top 10 picks, by the way. Because I could see Downs sneaking in the top 10. And I think actually 4. They're not going to be 4, but
I could see Downs going to one of the NFC East teams.
I mean, I could. Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles are going top 10. Like, I'm very confident. And Downs and Tate could sneak in. Probably not both of them, but they both potentially top 10 picks. So anyway, but as far as true slam dunk blue chip players, I think there's only 2 of them. And then real 1st rounders, I got Love. I'm looking at my list. I got Love. I have Bailey, Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, the kid from Miami, Maui Goa, Reuben Bain, another Miami kid. So what are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sonny Styles, Mansour Delane from LSU, the corner. Carnell Tate, Tyson, even though I don't like him, Jordan Tyson.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan either.
I think Proctor's a legitimate first round pick. I think Peter Woods is. Fano is. I don't know. I'm not counting. But
And the
here's
only two blue chips you got are Love and who was your second one? Downs? No.
oh, and Vega is in there. But I don't even have him. He's the safest, but I don't even have him in blue chip.
No, you only have two blue chips, right? You
Yeah.
have Love and who was your second one? Was it Downs?